The Great Cat and Mouse Chase. Chapter 1, The Feline Kingdom. In the heart of the enchanted forest, there lay a majestic kingdom of cats. Ruled by King Leo, a fierce and noble feline with amber eyes, the kingdom prospered and flourished under his wise and just rule. The cats lived in luxurious palaces adorned with golden chandeliers and velvet cushions, and they feasted on the finest catches of the day. Despite their pampered lifestyle, the cats had a fierce rivalry with the kingdom of mice, who lived on the outskirts of the forest. For years, they had been engaged in a battle for supremacy, with the cats trying to capture the mice and the mice trying to outsmart the cats. The feud had led to countless skirmishes and battles, with neither side gaining the upper hand. King Leo knew that something had to be done to bring peace to the forest. He called for a meeting with the leaders of the mice, hoping to broker a truce that would end the fighting once and for all. But the mice were wary of the cats' intentions, having been betrayed in the past by promises of peace that were broken soon after. Despite the mice's reluctance, King Leo persisted, determined to find a solution to the conflict. He proposed that they hold a tournament, where representatives from both kingdoms would compete in various games and challenges to determine which kingdom was superior. If the cats won, the mice would agree to recognize their sovereignty over the forest. If the mice won, the cats would agree to leave them in peace. The mice agreed to King Leo's proposal, but with one condition: they would get to choose the games that would be played. King Leo agreed, knowing that it was a fair compromise, and the tournament was set to begin in a week's time. The cats and mice went their separate ways, each side preparing and training for the competition that would determine their fate. Chapter 2, The Mouse Rebellion. The day of the tournament arrived, and the mice were confident that they would emerge victorious. They had chosen games that favored their agility and quickness, such as running races and obstacle courses, knowing that the cat's strength and size would not be enough to win the day. The first few games were closely contested, with both sides winning some and losing some. But as the day wore on, it became clear that the mice had the upper hand. They were faster, more nimble, and more cunning than the cats, and they were winning game after game. The cats were growing frustrated and angry, unable to accept their defeat. They began to accuse the mice of cheating, claiming that they were using trickery and magic to win. The mice denied the accusations, but the tension between the two kingdoms was palpable. Finally, in the last game of the tournament, the mice won in a landslide. They had outmaneuvered the cats in a game of capture the flag, and the victory was theirs. The cats were furious, but there was nothing they could do. They had lost fair and square, and they knew it. It was then that Jerry, the leader of the mice, stood up and spoke. "We have proven ourselves to be the superior kingdom," he said. "But we do not seek to rule over the cats. We only want to live in peace, as equals. Will you accept our offer of friendship?" King Leo was taken aback by Jerry's words. He had never considered the possibility of friendship with the mice, but now that it was offered, he realized that it was what the forest truly needed. He extended his paw in friendship, and Jerry accepted it warmly. From that day on, the cats and mice lived in harmony, and the forest was filled with the sounds of their laughter and joy. Chapter 3, The Great Chase. Despite the newfound peace between the cats and mice, there was still one game that they enjoyed playing together, the Great Chase. It was a game that had been passed down through generations, where the mice would race through the forest, with the cats in hot pursuit. It was a test of speed, agility, and cunning, and both sides relished the thrill of the chase. The rules were simple. The mice would start at one end of the forest, and the cats would start at the other. The mice had to make it to the other side without being caught by the cats. If they succeeded, they won. If the cats caught them, they won. The Great Chase was a game that brought the cats and mice together, in a spirit of friendly competition. They laughed and joked as they raced through the forest, leaping over fallen trees and dodging through bushes. It was a reminder that, despite their differences, they were all creatures of the forest, living together in harmony. Chapter 4, The Great Feast. To celebrate their newfound friendship and their love of good food, the cats and mice decided to hold a great feast in the heart of the forest. They gathered all the best fruits, nuts, and berries that they could find, and they cooked up a delicious meal together. The cats and mice sat together around a large, communal table, laughing and chatting as they ate. They shared stories about their lives in the forest, and they talked about their hopes and dreams for the future. As the night wore on, the forest grew quiet, and the animals began to drift off to sleep. But the cats and mice stayed up a little longer, enjoying each other's company and reveling in the warmth of their newfound friendship. They knew that they had something special, something that would endure for generations to come. And as they lay down to sleep, their hearts were full of joy and contentment. The end.